Hi guys, welcome back to Flora Fun and Food. My name is Lauren and today I'm going to share my mom's homemade biscuits and gravy recipe with you. Let's go. First step is to go ahead and get our oven set to 375 and then we'll get our burner started for our sausage. Alright, let's get our sausage in, and I'm making double batch. You know me, always making a lot. We have company coming over for breakfast, so I want to make sure I have plenty of food. I never put anything in the pan like oil or butter because sausage itself is very fatty, so it'll have plenty of grease as it starts to cook. So as long as you're stirring it and messing with it, it's not going to stick too bad. And while that cooks, we're going to get our biscuits ready. And I'm just going to put our biscuits onto an ungreased baking sheet. And I like to break up any of the bigger chunks that are just going to be too big for our gravy, but I still like it to have some, bite to it. Alright, so our sausage is cooked, but I want it to get a little more browned because that Maillard reaction where it kind of caramelizes is where all the flavor is. So we're going to let it cook just a little bit longer, and then we'll add in the next steps. Perfect timing. Okay, so our oven is preheated, so let's go ahead and get our biscuits in there while this browns. Alright, these biscuits need 11 to 15 minutes or until they are golden brown. Oh shoot, and they're not going to fit together on one row. So we're going to move a rack. Okay. Alright, we'll put these in and set about a 10-minute timer and then check on them. Now you can really hear the sizzle now, so I know that this is about to get right where we want it to be, where that kind of caramelized, delicious brown. Alright, now that we have some good browning on our sausage, we're going to add in flour to make our gravy base. And I'm just going to start with probably a half a cup. You're basically making a roux because you're combining an oil or a fat with flour. And you really want to make sure that you cook out all of the flour because uncooked flour is the worst taste. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit so we don't burn our flour. Just really let that flour soak up all of that grease and coat all the sausage. Let it continue cooking here for a couple of minutes before we add our milk. And I'm going to go ahead and add in some black pepper. I was going to add salt, but this sausage is usually pretty salty. So I'm just going to do a little bit of black pepper and then let everybody else kind of just flavor it their own way if they want more. We don't want to overdo it. So we'll add in our black pepper. Stir it some more, and then we'll get our milk in here. Alright, milk time. You can use any kind of milk. This is fat-free milk because that's what we buy. And I just pour it until it's kind of right at the top of all the sausage. And we can kind of add more as we go if we need to, but this is kind of how I always start it. It's just barely covering the top of the sausage. So now that flour and grease mixture is going to be what thickens up our milk once it gets to a boil and turn it into gravy. The milk also helps kind of deglaze the pan. Anything that's kind of stuck on at the bottom comes off when you add in the liquid. So that's all that flavor is going to come through the gravy, and it's delicious. Alright, we'll let that get up to temperature. Alright, it is already thickening up. And I can tell since I have so much sausage in here, I'm going to need more milk just so that the ratio is right. Again, I just kind of eyeball this. It's more of a, does it look right rather than a, did I get the right amount? So I know that's not very helpful for new cooks, so sorry. But if you add too much milk, you can always add in a little bit more flour and make sure you just cook it out and it'll thicken it up. Or some cornstarch and water, that always works too. But if you just add it little by little, you won't overdo it. Sounds like it's time to check on our biscuits. All right, we're gonna peek. Okay, these are not quite done yet, so we're gonna leave them a couple more minutes. So I just added in more because I know that I'm gonna need a lot of gravy for these boys. So I can just kind of filled it almost to the top of my pan, and now we need to let it get back up to a boil. So I'm gonna turn this up and just keep stirring. I kind of scrape the bottom as I go, just so nothing sticks. All right, our biscuits are done. So we're gonna pull those out, turn our oven off. Perfectly golden brown. Okay, our gravy is pretty thick, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the burner off. This will continue to thicken as it cools, but being in a cast iron pan, it's gonna just hold its heat for a little longer, so I don't want it to burn. There we go. All right. And that is that, homemade biscuits and gravy. So easy and so delicious. So now all that's left is to plate it up. So I like to just do 2 biscuits like this and top it off with our homemade gravy. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and head over to my channel to subscribe for more content like this. And I hope to see you again very soon. Thanks guys. Bye.